Hey guys, it is Miki Same Unlimited, and today I'm tackling a top 5 for you guys. The top 5 I'm going to be tackling is going to be a little rude, which is going to be the top 5 decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Scrubs tend to play. See, this video, I just know that these 5 decks I've seen countless Scrubs pick up and don't do good with. So these 5, I'm going to get on into it, and it's going to be a fun video. So if you guys would like to see more Thursday videos with me in it, don't forget to like the video. 500 likes. Now, I feel like Dark Magician is like a nostalgia trip for people. You know, they're like, oh my god, Dark Magician finally has support. I could play all these cards like Rod and Circle and all these cards that are good. Dark Magician has like a setup where it's like, it's just good generic support. It's not anything crazy. It was never anything that was going to break the game. It's just good support. The problem is that I see with Dark Magician players that pick it up that are bad are that I see a lot of people that are like, I like Dark Magician, so I'm going to play the deck. And I see a lot of questionable techs. That's the best way I could describe crappy Dark Magician players is I could tell by the text that they're choosing to play, because for me in this day and age, you have to be very, very quick. So when I see cards that are stagnant and not moving you in a set direction, I raise an eyebrow and I'm like, you are not good at this game, are you? And that's just how I feel. I feel like all these decks that I'm going to say, in my opinion, are not bad decks. The players that tend to play them that are not smart and competitive and are up to today's, hot standard are going to be doing well. And that's for the people that, just are scrubs. And that's the point of this video. I'm calling out, scrubs that play these decks that haven't invested the right time in them yet. Now, you see, for me, I've played Lightsworns, and for me, it's like, I like Lightsworns, I appreciate Lightsworns, but the problem with them is that I feel like I see people just do so poorly with them, and it's not a complicated deck either. You dump shit in the grave, and you see, Lightsworns have the ability to go into multiple, there's many directions you can take Lightsworns, to whatever custom, floats your boat. It's their execution, which is so stupid, because it's not so hard. The main thing is to just dump as much shit as possible, and then you push for whatever you have in your grave, and you push to play JD or whatever floats your boat, like I said before, and then just go in. And I understand that, people could just get shitty hands, and maybe I'm just ripping on people with that deck that get really bad openings, but a part of me is like, it's not that hard to use, and I'm speaking from experience because I've played it, and I see so many Lightsworn players or people that use Lightsworn techs for their decks to get their ball rolling, and they just do bad. I see a lot of people that, and I judge it based off my own personal standard and based off how much I've seen of Lightsworns in general. So for me, it's like when I see someone that can't step to the plate with Lightsworns, I'm like, get your scrub ass away from me, because I'm like, this is one of the easiest decks you could pick up in this game. Now, you see, I feel like everyone that appreciates this game will have an appreciation for heroes. I feel like heroes are good for certain people and not for others. Now, I feel like, you see, heroes is a way where I feel like you have to be one of two ways. You have to be the competitive outlook, where you have to be with like Mass Heroes, Dark Law, and just on top of the stun mechanic method of how that deck plays. And if you don't play that way, you're just not going to do well. And then there's the just generic good support, where you can make your own custom hero deck, and as long as it's good, like with the Neo support and all stuff like that. Now, I feel like either way you could take heroes and go in a good direction. But I feel like because so many people like heroes and they don't know what they're doing, and they haven't either conformed to one of those two standards, they are just walking around in a cloud and they just suck. Now, ABCs is another deck how I feel a lot like Lightsworns. It's not a complicated deck. And the thing that makes, in my opinion, ABC players bad, for the ones that don't know the deck well, it's all about chaining. If you are bad at chaining, that deck is not good for you. If you can't know the right and wrong time to click your shit, you should not pick up a deck like that. It's not even a hard deck to use, but if you can't handle the concept of preparing yourself and using the cards in the right moments, that deck is, in my opinion, all about the moment. If you feel like you can't have that game knowledge that you just know when to do shit, don't pick up that deck. You should be able to know decks inside and out and when they're going to pop off and do their shenanigans. And you have to use Dragon Buster in a way where you can counter your opponent, because Dragon Buster is your front runner. And if you make your front runner useless, which I've seen many fucking ABC players use that deck so poorly. And I know it because for me, it's like I faced ABC players that were fucking OP powerful, and I'm like, shit, I'm in a pickle compared to some I just steam through. And I'm like, there's definitely people that pick up that deck that don't know what they're doing with it. I have seen so many fucking Blue Eyes players that are fucking utter garbage. And it's one of those things where that deck was like best deck at one point. And for me, that's like I faced Blue Eyes to the point where I was stomped into the ground by a decent amount of competitive players. Yet there would be just basic shitty ass Blue Eyes players that I would just steam through, and I would be like, damn, maybe Blue Eyes isn't as cracked up as it's supposed to be. But it's not that, because the Blue Eyes deck is powerful, and that deck also has the ability, like Lightstorms, to brick. But the problem is that I've seen a lot of people that just don't know how to use that deck. And that deck, yet again, isn't a complicated deck to pick up either. It's an easy base deck to understand. It's just, I feel like, especially with Blue Eyes and Dark Magician, because Dark Magician is 5 on this list and Blue Eyes is number 1. Because it's one of those things where I feel like when people saw that Blue Eyes and Dark Magician were able to be used in a competitive based way and being able to fight back against the meta and be like, yeah, I can actually do something, doesn't mean that that deck is right for you. It's like one of those things where it's like every game you have to, dedicate a certain amount of time into to be good. And I feel like certain people probably picked up that deck just like, Blue Eyes was so powerful, so I'll steam through everything. And sometimes playing something like, Chaos Max will give you that win if you're lucky enough. But sometimes you're just going to get punched in the face and knocked off like your fucking high pedestal. And then you're going to be like, what just happened to me? I thought this deck was, I thought it was good. No. So for me, it's just like these decks, in my opinion, like any other deck, like I feel like I could have said like, oh, Thunder Dragons and how they are, and Sky Strikers, all these decks, when I see them, I feel like I'm facing a lot of competitive users from crappy players. Now, I feel like crappy players play these 5 decks. I feel like I see a majority of scrubbish players playing them. And to be fair, almost all these decks, probably not ABCs, but Blue Eyes, Heroes, Lightstorms, Dark Magician, even ABCs in a way, are all kind of like fan favorite decks. So it's not hard to understand how it's like, it's a fan favorite deck. So a lot of people are going to appreciate these decks, and, if they're good or not in the game, they're going to want to play these. That's kind of what this video is about. I play a lot of irrelevant decks and shit, like random stuff that takes people off guard. So I'm sure in their eyes they think I'm shit, so vice versa. So yeah, so that's basically my video. I just wanted to tackle this. I thought it'd be fun to just talk about this. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like it if you haven't. Comment below the deck that you think you see scrubs pick up the most. Other than that, hopefully you guys will see me and Spidey do a Saturday video. Me and Spidey have been having issues with that. He's trying to send me the files, then I converting, everything's too large, and so it's all over the place. So yeah, hopefully you appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully Saturday, and have a good day and a better tomorrow.